Welcome back to Cure of the Common Game. Today we're going to talk about Balthor the Defiled, a zombie dwarf. That's right. He gives all minions +1/+1, and that is actually where I took it, because most Balthor Defiled builds I have seen have all been like zombie-centric, and there's just so many zombie generals that I'm already going to do. This seemed like a perfect time to do one of the unsung tribes. Minions don't get a lot of love. So first and foremost, I guess we need to go through the minions. And one of the bigger minions there is of course Chainer. Now, I love Chainer. I didn't branch off into the Nightmares aspect because that's not this deck. That's not what we're trying to do. Chainer will lead his own deck of Nightmares, which that'll be awesome. But speaking of which, it was really, really hard for me to build a mono black deck without the actual card Nightmare in it. A lot of older cards have got errata. Ooh, Ragman is now a minion. Of course, Minion of the Waste. Now, Minion of the Waste is the card that Phyrexian Processor was made after. Phyrexian Processor is an artifact that you do this and you just tap, you spend some mana and tap it. We'll get to it. It makes minions. So the Processor makes Minion of the Waste. So obviously both of those are in there. And because both of those are in there, there is a slight life gain mechanic in here, or feel. Treacherous Werewolf. Threshold is just about always going to happen in EDH. Bone Shredder's a minion, which is awesome because it does actually, if you don't pay the echo, it will put itself into the graveyard and you can sack your general to bring them back and get another ETB trigger off of the Bone Shredder. So that works. The Bringer of the Pain. Now, you're probably not exiling creatures from your yard, but, you know, hey. Phyrexian Slayer. You would think there'd be way more Phyrexian cards that would be minions. Or at least at some point in time have a Phyrexian creature type. Maybe we'll get it next year when we go back home to Dominar. Duskwalker. Gloom Drifter. Overeager Apprentice. Now, Reclusive White is not a amazing card. A lot of these minions are not, not going to break any records here, but Sadistic Hypnotist. You can sack a dude, which, fills up the graveyard, brings your general online for when you do, like, blow up the world, and you can bring all your guys back. Dirty Were-Rat. Now, the Dauthi, most of them, as it turns out, were minions. And of course, they have Shadow. Shadow is amazing, but you don't really want to go too deep with Shadow or all the way because you effectively are giving their creature Shadow too because you can't block them. But anyway, having these four, the Trapper, the Cutthroat. Now the Cutthroat, I actually did a little expanding on the Dauthi Cutthroat here because, yeah, it's a 1/1 Shadow for 2. That's fine and all, I guess, but destroy target creature with Shadow. So I wanted to run the Dauthi Embrace to actually give a creature Shadow. And since I was running the Dauthi Embrace, I thought, maybe I can do a little protection for myself because Maze of Iths don't grow on trees. And maybe I can use the Maze of Shadows and try to use the Dauthi Embrace offensively and defensively. Swing with your general, give him Shadow. Hey, they're not blocking it. Or it's a very good political card to give one of your opponents that's attacking somebody else. Anyway, I thought those 2 or 3 cards were kind of fun. A lot of this deck is, how should we say, old. The Dauthi Mind Ripper, you can sack it. Corrupt Official, Sleeper Agent, Invasion of the Body Snatcher, the Bounty Hunter. Once there's a mark on them, they're going to go down eventually. Phyrexian Broodlings, the Priest of Gix. Lost Soul is also now a minion. And probably the most famous minion, Miss Phage, or Chroma, or Jessica, or whatever the heck you want to call her. We're going to call her Phage because, that's the name on the card. But she's a fairly decent minion. She very specific about how she comes to the yard, though. Now, as far as mana ramp, I have the Paradise Plume, which kind of, we don't have a whole lot of expensive cards in the deck, so I didn't devote a whole lot of space to mana ramp. We've got the Plume, which the life gain aspect is what. Let me clear that up. That's pretty potatoey. The life gain aspect is really what put it over the top for me in here. The Fractured Power Stone and the Charcoal Diamond. Like we said, minions need some love. Minions need some help. So the Obelisk of Erd and the Hall of Triumph are going to, pump them up to where they're not embarrassing. The Staff of the Death Magus and the Demon's Horn are also life gain effects, because we're going to be spending some life on that there processor. It's just, you draw the processor, and in our format, if you draw it early, you're going to pay at least 20 life. Because there's something sexy about that 20/20. I don't know. Depending late game, if you've managed to gain a bunch of life, hey. Bantu's Monument, also gaining life and kind of rampish for your creatures. I don't know. Volrath's Lab's going to keep cranking out minions. Yeah, this is horrible. 5 to cast, 5 to use to get 2/2s. I would... How is she going to crank out minions, though? Really? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this was a rare back then. And then, of course, we have everybody's favorite colorless board wipe, the Larry Nevins disc, which is awesome. Now, spot removal of Terror, Dark Banish, Tragic Slip, Tendrils of Corruption. It also does the life gain. Chill to the Bone. Now, the reason why I chose Chill to the Bone, you don't really see it. And yeah, the shiny did kind of speak to me a little bit. But the reason is there's a slight snow theme in here, mainly for the... Well, Mouth of Ronan's never bad. But the scrying sheets. I'm hoping that someday that we get snow done correctly, but until then, I'll play with it how it is. We have Sudden Spoiling, which is really close to a personal Wrath of God, because you play it during combat, they can't do a damn thing about it, and you block and pretty much probably kill their team. Or, if you are, like, say you are player A, if player B attacks player C, you can influence combat dramatically. Now, yeah, you're throwing one person under the bus, but sometimes the bus needs a speed bump. Engineered Plague for all your tribal needs. Now, running the Hecatome, because quite frankly, I always look for decks to run Hecatome. The ability to tap a swamp and deal damage is just so appealing. I'll sack the 4 creatures, especially in a deck where my general brings the creatures back. So it doesn't seem like it's that bad. Hissing Miasma is just... It does keep the weenie hordes off of you a little bit, because there comes a point in time where if they storm herd and they come at you, then they die too. So we do have a little bit of Drain Life and Consume Spirit are life gain cards, as well as Corrupt. And I do believe that's it for our life gain. Now, because Chainer is in here, I did have to do Chainer's Edict. I mean, that kind of felt like I had to. Siphon Mine. I think this represents all of... Well, oh, no. Siphon Mine and Sign in Blood are the card draw. Innocent Blood. Now we're going to get into mass removal here. Perish. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's this deck. Perish. A cool, 20% of the creatures just died. Extinction kills what Perish didn't. Mutilate will just about always wipe the board. Just about always. In a mono black deck, anyway. Plague Wind. I love Plague Wind. I wish I had 1,000 copies of it. Oh, speaking of which, by the way, I just bought 500 Rogues Passages. For real. I bought 500 Rogues Passages. Hell, they were like a nickel a piece. But anyway. And I'm probably going to use them because this is an amazing card. Unless you are... I'm hard-pressed to think of a deck that you wouldn't want it in. If you plan on dealing any kind of combat damage or any kind of general damage with your general, then you're going to want a Rogue's Passage. 1-color deck, yes. 2-color, yes. 3, yeah. 4 and 5, depending on how specific you are with all 4 or 5 of those colors, maybe not, because you need your mana to be fixing. But odds are, if you're that deep, you've got other ways to fix it. You're probably 5 CG, but... Rogue's Passage is a utility card from way back. I love it. That's why I'm, here for too long. There's going to be 500 rolling in. Infest. -2/-2 kills a lot of things. Even Cards Justice, same thing. Buyback, amazing. Yes, I know you're looking at it 7 mana to deal 2 damage, but it's creature and player. So if you are higher life, then... And also, you just keep killing creatures, and you just keep buying it back. And 7 mana is not that bad for, what we do. Stench of Evil. We destroyed all green creatures, now we're destroying all planes. Evidently, Balthor does some hate. But, at least they can, spend some mana to save some of their planes. Zombify is getting one of our dead dudes back, and Gruesome Encore is getting... one of their dudes back. And the beautiful part here is it exiles it when you're done. Man, give me that. I'm going to use it this turn, and then it's gone. And of course, we have Exhume. Another card I'm playing with in a lot of monocolor decks is the new Cycling Deserts. There's really no reason not to play with these, especially in monocolor decks. I'm running them every time. I fear that I'm going to run out of the Cycling Deserts. I'll remember those cycles, but anyway, that's all I've got for Balthor the Defiled, the guy that keeps the minions in line. I haven't. I guess it would be cool to get somebody to alter some of those. Well, most of them are in perfect fit, so I'm sure I could go to like Dollar Tree or somewhere and get some minion stickers and put on the perfects. Oh, that'd be cool. I think I might do that. I don't know. I've never seen a minion movie, so anyway, I do appreciate you watching. Y'all let me know what you think. But right now, we're going to shuffle and cut.